Hey everyone, I'm Kendall Ball and welcome to APSU Sports Network. And today I'm here with a very special guest, the all-time winningest Austin Peay women's softball coach, Coach Stanfill. Nice to have you.
Thank you for having me.
And I was so excited for this interview. Most people don't know like softball is kind of like my really like third favorite sport. Because I'm not a big fan of baseball.
Okay.
And I feel like softball has more action in the game. A lot of more home runs, a lot more scoring.
It's
And
just quicker.
it's quicker.
quicker, yeah.
I'm more of a fast paced guy.
The question is, what's sport number 2? I feel like 3. I don't know if I could celebrate number
Well,
3.
Basketball.
Basketball. Okay. That's fair.
I played basketball, so it's always gonna be my second favorite.
Okay.
So, going into, this season, like you said, this is your 8th year you're telling me. So how does it feel to, go into your 8th year here at Austin Peay and, really, lead this team after having such a great season last year? And now you're entering the conference tournament. So tell me, what was your, expectations for this year? And like, did you have like a team motto, like for example, like for football, we had "We Will." So did y'all have anything like that?
Yeah. So for me, year 8, I'm actually really excited to be somewhere for a long period of time. The longest I've ever been, even just as an assistant coach, was 3 years. So being at a university for an extended stay, where I can actually kind of put my roots down, people can get to know me. And then the most beautiful thing is actually building a culture and building the team as in like what we want as a coaching staff. And so going off of last year was an amazing year. We were kind of in the very similar boat as far as half returners, half transfer, and freshmen. Okay, so like half and half with newbies and returners. And I'm never big on telling the team what our motto is going to be. I like to like fill it out. I think every team is different, and until we truly know one another, I don't really give them a motto. I really like it to be player led and them kind of come up with our own. So, but as far as Team 41, we're a great unit. We are wild, we're crazy, and we're a lot of fun to watch.
So I know I mentioned the conference tournament. So, how excited are you to get into postseason play? As you know, they say, the team that's hottest in the postseason, they can make a run. So
when it matters.
How do you feel going into the postseason?
Yeah, so Team 41, we are still in like this I don't know, I want to say developmental stage, and maybe that's not the word to use, but we haven't reached our peak, right? And to me, that's actually exciting. I think of our team last year, like we had our longest winning streak, and we were early in the season, right? And then once conference hit, that's when those losses started to come and whatnot. And so this team, we're a little different. Like we have some losses that we shouldn't have. Every weekend we're having to go out and compete and try to find a way just to take 1 to 2 games against conference teams. And so I'm kind of using the message of our team like, hey, we haven't really reached our peak. Like we haven't played true Team 41 ball yet as a whole. And to me, it's exciting because we haven't already done it. We haven't seen what we wanted to see. So it's like the power of yet. And in 3 weeks, we're going to be at conference tournament. And for me, I hope that's when we're gelling, we're hitting the ball hard, we're playing good softball defensively, and our pitchers are owning their zone. I hope it all comes together at the right time.
Yeah, I was at the Lipscomb game last weekend, and it really, it shows like how close y'all are as a team. Like you could see it on the field. Like I could tell how close y'all are and how y'all built the team together. So
Yes.
tell me about like how did you build this like team camaraderie? So and like when you have transfers and new people come in and gelling with these people who've been there.
Yeah, we're very player led. So our returners that we have, they always do a really good job of being the welcome team, right? And so we're really big on who we are bringing into the clubhouse. So just good humans. And I'm really big if we recruit good humans, like we're going to have a good quality clubhouse. That's how that's going to be. We're going to love on one another. We're going to celebrate one another. There's always trial and error as you're rocking along, especially with 26 females. But this year it was one of those things. Our returners took in the newcomers. They take a lot of pride in their fall and spending time outside of softball. going to Mexican, doing bingo nights, and whatever that looks like for them. Team-wise, we encourage them to be their authentic self. Whatever that means. You show up around me in the softball field, I want you to be you and who you are. And if that is loud and crazy, let's be loud and crazy. If you're quiet and reserved, be quiet and reserved. It doesn't matter. Like, I just want them to be them. And so I think that is really big for our transfers, because a lot of times they're not coming from a situation where they could feel like they wanted to be themselves or could be themselves. And so I think that's where it comes from. It's like, show up, be who you are. Let's have fun playing softball. It's the game. So that's why we're all here doing it. And then we just try to remind them along the way. It's never easy. You always have bumpy roads, but it's just having the hard conversations and moving on from it.
So I know I mentioned, the ASUN, conference tournament, and this is actually going to be the last year y'all in the ASUN.
Crazy, right?
So how do you feel about moving to a new conference with new teams?
Yeah, I feel like we just did it, honestly. I feel like we had this conversation a couple years ago, and it was like, hey, this is going to be the last OVC tournament. Like, let's go out and do something crazy. And here we are. We're doing it again. And so the last ASUN tournament, ASUN's been great to us. We've had a great time. We've enjoyed it. Now we move on, and we have new conference with new teams. It's just kind of getting to know the new opponents and figuring out how are we going to beat them? How are we going to out-recruit them? And, where's our competition there?
So I like to mention, one player. I think, we all know who it is. Let's talk about Brie Howard.
Let's talk about Brie Howard.
She's had a historic season, already broke the RBR record, and she's tied for the home run record. And, a fun fact, while I was, researching, it was previously held by an assistant coach on your staff.
Yes.
So tell me about how it's been able to see, Brie develop since you recruited her to, come to this point, and how has the dynamic been between the coach and the player, where she's like, oh, I'm going to break my coach's records?
Honestly, I haven't heard any smack talking, but that doesn't mean that it hasn't happened. It probably already has. But as far as Brie, I think, Brie came in as a freshman. When I recruited her, we had the conversation of like, you come here, you have the opportunity to help us do something that this program's never done. You have the opportunity to leave your legacy. And she was about it. That's what she wanted. She was like, yes, like, sign me up. And so her freshman year, she came in with a bang. And every year we've been able to get better. The thing that I love the most is here we come junior year, and we set lofty goals. And she's like, Coach K, this is what I want. And I'm like, okay, do you actually know how you're going to get there? And Brie's raw talent. Like, the girl's she's athletic, okay? And I'm like, you're going to have to work harder than you've ever worked before. And I'll call her out. My athletes are used to it. And she's like, okay, like, game on, let's go. And so this year, her junior year, it's truly the first year where she's like poured into her craft. So to be able to see her get the success on top of what she's already done before, like, it's pretty special. And then you have a whole nother year. So I think if Brie just stays locked, right now we may be in that like one home run and I like break the record mode. I'm really hoping we get past that soon. I think it's going to come. But once it does, I think we're going to elevate, and I think she's going to do even more. I really do.
Yeah, the fact that you said this is really the first year of her, really.
She's a hard worker
on her craft.
But I mean, when I'm saying doing extra, this is like the first year where she's like a cage rat, at 8:00 at night going to get extra swings.
Oh, that's scary.
I know.
Because she still has some years left.
I know.
So, well, let's, bring it all the way back to your personal background.
Okay.
I, did some research, saw that you were a starting pitcher at Louisville for 4 years. Tell me about your experience at Louisville, and how did that, help you, lead into a coaching career? Did you always want to be a coach, or did you have other plans after your career?
Great question. I actually wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach. So I wanted to coach somebody. When I was in college, I fell in love with the weight room. And I wanted to be the strongest. I wanted to be the fastest. That's just where my joy was. And as soon as graduation happens, like, it hits you. Like, next thing you know, you can't put on your cleats. And I was fortunate enough that I was able to stay an extra semester. Fortunate enough, I graduated a semester later. But I stayed an extra semester, and I got to work in the weight room, internship, and then they let me stay around the softball team. They were like, just help us out, go to class when you can, but come and be with us. And so Spending time in both, I realized I wasn't ready to get rid of softball. Like I was not ready to hang up the cleats or put the glove down. And so as soon as that was over, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay and I'm coaching. Like I'm going to get into the coaching world. And, without Louisville, I don't know where I would be, honestly. I think along the way, I've had amazing mentors that just within the game have like helped shape and mold me as a young woman. When you get to college, you know how it is. You have so many people that can be good or bad, right? And I was blessed. I had mentorship that was like, hey, this is how you do things. This is professional. This is not professional. This is how you get work done. This is hard work. And I'm grateful for my time there because it set me up literally for everything in my future. Coach Pearsall, she was the one that gave me the opportunity to go and play at the University of Louisville. Coach Brugg, she is now our president of our NFCA, which is our coaching association. Coach Brugg was my associate head coach. She was the coach that I leaned on. Like, coach, help me. I'm struggling. Get me through this. And I am close to 40 is what I'll say. And I still will call both my coaches and check in with them. And if I need advice, like they're the people that I'm leaning on still to this day. Not everybody has that. It's extremely special. So I'm just blessed that I was able to get that at the University of Louisville.
Yeah, it's great that you mentioned like you having mentors and can we talk more about like the relationship with your mentors and maybe what are some like have you like been in the mentor role for some young coaches that you've had on your staff?
I would hope so. Yeah, I'd hope so. I think for me, mentorship is probably like why I do what I do, honestly. Like, I'm a lover. Like, I want to make sure I'm helping people and I'm caring for people. And so for me, it's more of like the servant leadership. My student athletes, I even think of, you can be transactional or transformational. I'm not the coach that's only worried about the X's and O's. And sometimes, honestly, I wish I were, but I'm not. I am transformational. I'm like, how can I develop you as a young woman? When you leave here, you're ready to like go and conquer the world. I do the same for my assistant coaches, as well as other coaches that, I've been in contact with where I've learned like, if you don't have people to bounce things off of, like you're probably going to you're going to be steady Eddie. And when you're steady Eddie and there's no growth, you're just going to get stuck and get left behind. And so growth mindset's huge for me. And I know I'm not going to be good unless I surround myself with people that are challenging me daily.
Wow, that's great. So I would like to, do a little segment here.
Oh man, I'm nervous.
But it's going to be, questions that involve your player career and your coaching career.
Okay.
So I want you to give me one favorite game or moment from your playing career and then one favorite game or moment from your coaching career.
Okay. Favorite? Ooh. It's more so just what I remember, honestly. I had some really good games as a player, but right now, the one that comes to me, and I think it's because it's sentimental, that's probably it, but it was a midweek against the University of Kentucky. So Louisville and Kentucky, it's a big deal. And I ended up getting the start. I wasn't the first pitcher on the lineup. Like I knew that, like I knew my role, but I got the call. Hey, you are starting today. Get your mind right. Got it, coach. Let's go. So I just remember calling my dad. I'm like, Dad, I'm starting against the University of Kentucky. Like, here we are. I think I was a sophomore. And that night, not only did I get to pitch, I was also a hitter. And so that night, I will never forget my first inning. I went out. We were 3 up, 3 down, whatever, got my outs. And then I go up to hit, and early in the game, I hit a home run. And as I hit my home run, I'm trotting around the bases, and I see my sister and my dad in the outfield. Had no idea they were going to be there. But that moment, I was like, this is so cool. I couldn't even tell you if we won the game or not. It was just seeing him in the outfield surprising me with something that was extremely special. So coaching-wise, man, I have a lot. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like Alex could help me with this one, but I know it's tough. I don't know, honestly. I think last year, the year as a whole was special. Like I remember like our ASUN conference wins, like the tournament wins being like epic, like beating Florida Gulf Coast and sending them home. It was special. Like, we had 2 starters that played at Florida Gulf. Nothing against Florida Gulf. It was just, we were like playing for them. Like, hey, let's kind of give it to them. And to go out and to do it with like those athletes kind of, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but giving the middle finger, like, hey, like, here I am. Look what you miss out on. And like coming together as a team, I think that's probably it. Like, we were literally like one unit fighting for one or two people, and then coming out on top doing it was really cool.
I like that, you really have your players back like that like you said, when you have former players going against their former team, it can be a very emotional game.
For sure. Yeah.
So, that just shows like the type of coach you are and why, so many of these women gravitate towards you. You be able to get players like Brie Howard.
Yes.
So I would like to, end the interview by saying, thank you for coming today. This is a great experience for me. And I feel like, I called you Coach Stanfill, but you told me they call you Coach K.
Yes.
I feel like, we became kind of, friends.
We're buds now.
We were kind of buds now. So I feel like I can call you Coach K now. I'll see you around. We both in athletics, so when I see you, I'll be like, what's up, Coach K?
Exactly. You better.
So I'd like to thank you for coming. And, I'm Kendall Ball with APSU Sports Network, and I'll see y'all later.